Well, it was a story this week that was everywhere on the front pages and in the headlines right around the world. Apple's new products and the key questions of whether Apple's gamble is going to pay off and whether people will really go for the Apple Watch as the latest fashion item. Well, we're joined by Evan Lucas, who's with us from IG. So the dust is kind of starting to settle on all of that, Evan. How are you judging the impact on the local tech and media space?
Yeah, probably the first way to answer that question, Brooke, is that looking at what Apple's released and whether or not the market believes it will do, as you said, be that continuous sort of space that it is. The market reaction over the last week has been quite interesting, and you have seen a very, very positive move on that news. It also suggests their new sort of upgrade to their interface, the fact they've obviously got layouts similar to the iPad as well, all very, very positive for local media stocks, considering they are really improving their movie and also their sort of digital online space applications as well. So very, very positively seen by the market, and therefore you should see the media space doing very well out of the new iPhone 6 and how the Apple Watch itself will play out when it's released next year.
Evan, we've seen a shocking number, a kind of shocking in a good way number on jobs this week as well for the Australian economy. I just wonder whether you can gauge a reaction from, what are actually some of the major employment providers in Australia, listed companies like Seek, News, Fairfax, all kind of involved in that space.
Yeah, Seek's the one to watch there, and it was very interesting. That was a shockingly good result, and the reason I say that is because the reaction was so erratic, the figure was just so strange that it was very, very hard to read, and you can see that in the trading when we saw that on Thursday. They did actually move up rapidly, and this is Seek I'm talking about. They moved up rapidly on that print and then came off very, very quickly as it looks like a rogue figure. Unemployment remains above 6%, and that was really there. Watching what happened, though, is that there is this drive that maybe the jobs movement is there. We are seeing participation also picking up. So we did see a real good movement in Seek, and also you can see that in Fairfax and also News Corp. Both of them were negative through most of the early session, then changed around. So there is a drive there. There was certainly a move on it, but I think it's a rogue figure, and the reaction to the share price trading on Thursday certainly showed that that was the case.
Thank you so much, Evan. Thanks. Appreciate your time today. Yeah, News with Career One and, of course, Fairfax with My Career. Let's have a look at some of the ratings for week 36 across free-to-air. Firstly, top 5 there, including the Block, 9 News Sunday and also 7 News Sunday, and flip it over and you'll actually find out once you look at the top 10, the Block has 4 of the top 8 rankings. So is that a reality format that seems to have got it right? Big audiences, big money potential. That's, of course, one of the talking points out of that. Have a look also at the subscription television ratings. The top 10, we've got first football finals in the AFL, some pretty big audiences for Fox Footy. And, of course, we do have the NRL final screens this weekend. That's only on free-to-air TV, though. But that's the top 5 on the sports side of things. And on the non-sports side of things, top 5 there, including The Recruit, Family Guy and The Simpsons. So that's some of the ratings for this week. Let's talk a bit more about television with Chris Nolan, CEO of Starcom Mediavest. And Chris, we've seen a battle of the Australian breakfast television shows this week. Sunrise heads to the US, and then the 9 networks, Today Show, heads to the US as well. Yeah. I think Sunrise kind of won the ratings battle. But we were talking a bit earlier about special events. This is kind of event TV really in the space, isn't it? Does it work in that breakfast time slot?
Well, I think the thing about breakfast audiences, they're very loyal to the program that they're into. And I think these events are about trying to get people to change their behaviour and maybe sample an alternative. And then once you've got them, then you can try to sustain some loyalty.
And you see kind of different advertisers popping up around these events too, don't you?
I did notice quite a few travel companies promoting American experiences this week, actually. So, yes, obviously that's quite contextually relevant. That would be opportunistic, that, the networks would target advertisers relevant to that content.
In the TV space as well, we've seen with some of the big news about even this building as well is Foxtel saying it's going to drop some of the prices quite substantially, and they're very bullish about that, what that will mean for subscriber numbers. Are you as bullish? What are your thoughts watching all of this?
I attended the Astra conference during the week. I think it was a terrific announcement made by Richard Freudenstein. We have seen declines in the audience for subscription TV. That needs to be rectified, and the way to do that is to reduce the amount of churn. So encourage more people to subscribe. So there's been a dramatic drop in the entry price. I think to $25 a month is the entry price now. But also more value is being provided to those existing subscribers. So yes, I think it'll be very effective for them.
Has it kind of prompted conversations with clients? I mean, what have they been saying to you?
Look, clients' primary concern is, what's happening with the audience trend.
Yeah, okay.
So what advertisers will want to see is that that decline arrested, and they want to see some growth. Obviously, there's more options for consumers to get their video content now, particularly with many video online options available to them. So that battleground is getting more competitive. So getting growth in audience for Foxtel is clearly what this strategy is about.
Perfect. And we should mention 10 this week because it's commissioned the reality format I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here for 2015. It's kind of been on offer for a while in the market, but if it works, I guess it could be pretty good news for 10. What's the key, though, with this one? Is this one going to save it?
I don't know that we could say it's the one that will save it, but certainly what we have seen with 10 recently is MasterChef returned to some of its former capability this year. We regularly, more than 1 million people watching that program. More recently, Family Feud has been a really successful launch for them, and even The Bachelor recently, midweek, has been strong for them. So if this program can add to that repertoire of programs, that's the key to success, is to have 5, 6 or 7 formats each week that are attracting really strong audiences.
So it's that suite.
It's about
the suite of offerings.
Having a strong repertoire of programs.
Is it getting back on track? I mean, it's headed in the right direction. What do you think?
It's heading in the right direction. I think certainly with those programs I just mentioned, it's heading in the right direction. But I'm sure the management there are cognizant that it's plenty more to do, and that momentum needs to be sustained.
Yeah, get to the destination pretty quickly, I suppose, as well. Thank you so much, Chris Nolan, for joining us on Media Week with your news and, of course, helping us through the other news of the week as well. Thank you, the CEO of Starcom Mediavest. That is it for this week's Media Week from the team here. Thanks so much for your company.